What's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to Empyrion. My name is Splattercat, and I'm happy to have you here today as we hang out for a little while. And I think this is going to be the episode where we start constructing our ship. Now, I started playing around with it before the episode started just to get a feel for how big this project was going to be. It's going to be a pretty big project. The cockpit turned out to be a lot larger than I thought it was. And so it may take us a while to get this thing assembled. Like, that's the cockpit alone right there. The cockpit, basically, it occupies a 7x7 platform that I put down previously, and so there's going to be a lot of work to get done right here, both physically in terms of the body shape and the model that we're trying to create, and then also in terms of just like putting all the things together. And so anyways, I think I'm probably going to put this in right here. I think this should be one of those episodes going to be a little bit low-key. We're just going to hang out for a little while. We're going to build some stuff. It's going to be awesome, trust me. So I think if I go, oh, that actually connects both ways. Do it? Okay, that's unfortunate. I don't like that at all. Then I need a piece that'll allow me to turn that corner around the edge. So these blocks right here are going to go away in just a minute. I want this to be shaped sort of like the front end of like a Klingon bird of prey. If you know, like the top area where the... well, I don't even know what I'm trying to... I guess the control deck, or I guess the officer's deck, or whatever you would call it. The place where everything gets controlled. There, I'm going to put it like that. That's the way that I would like it to look. But unfortunately, I don't know if it's actually going to look that way. This might be a little bit weird. And my geometrical knowledge is unfortunately not enough to get us finished here. Now, I had thought that if I flipped it upside down and I went in like so, I said upside down, friend. It may not allow me to do so. There it was, right there. I was thinking something like that, I guess, would get it close. But even then, it doesn't... I think there's got to be another piece that I could put in right there, so we'll come back to it in just a minute. But I like the way that that looks. On this side, that right there, a lot of this right here is going to go away, by the way. I just kind of made a big platform for myself so that I had something to work with. I wanted to have some extra space so that I wouldn't have to worry about, like, using up all of my equitable area. I'm just about out of a lot of my pieces here, and I set them all down to build, but unfortunately it's taken a little while. I've got what looks like maybe a curve-out slope right there. Maybe that'll work. Maybe that'll work. That might do something cool that I want to happen. Let me see if it can connect triangles, because that's what I wanted to occur here. Oh, it looks like you can actually sort of end it like so. Well, that's sort of an interesting thing, isn't it? Except for the bottom end right there is forced to be flat, so there'd be no way for me to make that look nicer, I guess. Additionally, once you have multiple layers, the game starts to be a little bit weird about it. Well, I mean, so I could go out to right there, and we could take this a little bit wider. I don't know, this is all subject to change, and so I'm just like fiddling around with stuff right now while I enjoy my gameplay time. I would like that to go... I don't like that either. Well, damn. This is going to be more complicated than I thought. I don't like that at all. So let me, first things first, I need to sculpt a little bit right here. So let's get rid of some of these blocks. It'll all be okay at the end of the day, I hope. We shouldn't be bothered by anything, but I don't know. I like my quiet construction time. I had a really good Minecraft world that I had going for a while where I basically... It was a cool Minecraft world. Like, I had spent probably an entire summer on it, just like fiddling with stuff, making little villages. And this is back before there were like villagers or anything else in the game too. Those weren't like a feature yet. And so if I do this right here, what can I do with some of this? I don't really care about wasting the parts anymore. I have like plenty of materials to get this done, so it's not exactly a giant issue for me. This is going to have kind of a Listric shape to it, and I don't know if that's going to make it work. Although with that overhang on the sides, that might be kind of cool. Give it kind of like a little bit of a tusky look. I don't know. I'll play with that in just a minute. That's a great word, tusk. It's always been a great word, and it will continue to be a great word. So let's assume that if I bring that in like so... that actually doesn't look half terrible. I mean, I'm a little bit bummed out about... well, we could do sort of like a... we could do kind of an away ship type thing like they have in Star Trek, where, for example, these will be like the little pontoony things on the sides, and we'll take those all the way back. It'll actually look quite a bit like the escape pod that we have over there. At some point, I'm going to have to lift this up off the ground, though. I'm not going to have a choice. At some point, this is going to have to come up off the ground so that I can work underneath it, because I suppose I could try and dig a mechanics pit underneath it, but I'm worried the whole thing's going to fall the hell down in and I'm going to feel like an idiot. So, I like that right there. I don't really know what to do with this right here. I suppose that would work. It doesn't look awful. I still have kind of a weird overhang going on right there, though. I don't know. I'll have to figure out the sculpting. I'm pretty sure I've got the right idea right here with this piece. But I'm going to have to fiddle with it a little bit before I'm going to be happy with it. So it's got to look like that right there. That's not too bad. That's acceptable. Yeah. I can deal with that. That looks alright. I'm going to have to do something with the top end right here to make it look a little bit cleaner so that it doesn't look just like a ridiculous flat shelf. And I do wish that there was something I could do on this side to sort of make that a little bit nicer. But as it sits right now, let's assume that I drop that right there for a minute. And I do similarly on this side. And this is just sort of like freeform building. I have no plan here, as you might be able to tell. There's nothing that I want to do with it. I kind of just fiddle with stuff. That's how I've always built things in video games, is I just fiddle with them until I get an appearance that I like. And move things around here and there. And then it all gets better eventually. Now let's assume for a moment that I take this. And I turn the corner right there. That's going to give it kind of a blocky appearance, though. And I don't know if I like that at all. Like, I could definitely fit that piece in right there. But then it becomes sort of a question of... Let me go back on this. I don't like this right here. Hold on. That extra piece right there may have to be fiddled with further. But for right now, I don't think I like it, and I don't like what it's doing. So I'll get rid of that. With the little pontoony things on the side, though, I know that I want those. Let's go back to base. I got a few more. I got a whole bunch of stuff working right now. And I waited like all day to do this, too, because I was going to start working at night. But it was too dark, and I got bored with the whole process. And so I figured I'd just throw in the episode right now. And we just have kind of like a hang out and shoot the shit episode while I work on this and get it all fixed up. Because it's going to take a while anyways. I'll try to get all the principal parts put in before we finish off this episode in like 20 minutes. Oh, good. That's all done. That makes me happy. Build more hull blocks, please. And then I could also use a few more. Though, you know what? Just go across the horn. Give me a little bit of everything, and I'm sure it'll be alright. Got a few more pieces right there that I can diddle with. I do have a whole corner right there, which is, I think, what I was leaning towards a bit. Once again, I don't do this for a living. I've always found that people that like work with car design and architecture and things like that tend to be really good at this because they just know intuitively how to get things to look the way that they want them to look through practice. It's their job to make that happen. And so I always thought that's kind of interesting. I am not one of those people. So the little sled shape we got going on over here, we have a couple of blocks that I could play around with. So we could do, if I flip this around, what could I do with it? It's a half block. I don't think it's gonna do exactly what I want it to. Let's leave that one for later. Going with a round shape right now is gonna be a bad choice too. Instead, well, this is still gonna have to come out one wider, otherwise it's gonna look funky. But what I need this to do is I need it to turn the corner and then I need it to go up around the sides of the cockpit so that technically your view would be askewed on the sides right here. And so knowing what I need to accomplish, that actually affords me a little bit of creative freedom because I can slap in the blocks right now that would be required to get this done, and maybe that'll help me get a little bit of perspective on what I want to do here. And I'll do the same on this side. Actually, the block that I may have had in place might have been alright had I just stuck it out and kind of just like waited to see what would happen. The game's placement system seems to be having some trouble right now. Like, I think I can fix it, but you got to use the right perspective. Otherwise, the game gets a little bit wonky and it doesn't like to place the blocks where you want them to go. So now we just got to figure out a way to smooth that over and make it look good. And it could be any block, really, that makes this happen. I think I'm actually okay with that. So yeah, that's what I needed right there, is I needed another layer to sort of make that feel more natural. And so I'm going to leave the front end where it's at right now. I don't think that needs to be adjusted any further. Instead, we've got ourselves a pretty cool sled look going on right now. I like it. I'm pleased, and so that's always a good sign. I would like now, what this is going to need to do is it's going to need to pitch upwards, like on the sides right here. Otherwise, it's going to be kind of funky looking. But where we do this is the big question. Now, typically in vehicle design, when you have like a little cockpit like this, they don't pitch it upwards for visibility's sake until the side of the hull comes into contact with the cockpit window over on this side, so that you can maintain some sort of like view freedom. And so I put that right there. I don't think I'm going to want a whole bunch... I don't think I want a whole bunch of rounded out features on this vehicle. I think I'm going to try and keep it kind of edgy. Where did I put that on this side? Hold on, jetpack. I need that to line up. Okay, so I was one back. Cool. That'll look alright right there. And so the next thing we need is more hullamajigs. And it's just one thing at a time with constructing something of this magnitude that's going to be so goddamn enormous. It's got kind of like a Star Fox look going on right now. I dig it. I can deal with it. I don't know exactly how big I want to make this thing, though, either. That's the other problem that I'm running into. Let's continue to work this around this way, I guess. I need a little bit of extra room to fiddle with. And we should be able to obscure the view of the rougher edges by going around the sides right there. Like, people will notice that there's a gap on the sides right there, but it won't be that big of a deal so long as we brick this up properly. Yeah, I think it'll be alright. So long as I handle the top of the chassis properly, we should be okay. I'm trying to get it to place, but it just doesn't want to do it until the first block is in. It seems to have trouble with that. If the first block isn't in, it gets very upset with you until the block is in that you wanted. Over here on this side, it's going to go something like... Actually, no, it's not. I think I need a straight hull block right there. Just looking at it geometrically. Because what you want is, you want for the backboard, essentially that's what I call it, I don't know if that's what it's called, but for the cockpit, there's going to be like a backboard right here where it really starts to inflate outwards from behind. You'll notice that I did it over here on this too. So I'm trying to give you an example of what I'm trying to do, and so I might as well show you on this vehicle over here. So because the cockpit is a pre-designed piece that you can't really change the shape of, what happens with vehicle design is you tend to have a place where the fuselage comes into contact with the cockpit right there, and you see how it sticks out slightly, but it's the same shape. That's what you're trying to do, and since the cockpit over there uses the shape of triangles, we didn't want to go one layer lower, because that'll make the cockpit larger than the fuselage, which will then give it a... It'll give it the impression of compression back behind, and we don't want the fuselage to get smaller behind the cockpit. We want it to get bigger, and so you want to give it the impression of being inflated rather than compressed. So, we've got a few more hull blocks right here to play around with. I'm just going to keep this running. We're almost out of oxygen. I'm having a blast with this episode, though. Whatever we get done today, I'm just going to assume that that's what we get done for the day. And then, am I out of oxygen? I'm probably out of oxygen. Hold on, is my tank empty? Yep, my tank is empty. I'm going to try and turn this into essentially what we had on the escape pod. And so I want it to have like a constructor on it. I want it to have an oxygen. We're going to another planet where we're not going to have any infrastructure. And so I want it to have storage. I want it to have enough room for all the stuff that I'm ever going to need when we hop out to a new planet. And so I'm trying to keep that in mind for right now. Got those. That's okay. Got the inverted blocks. I think we'll be all right. I've got a pretty good... No, don't waste another... I don't want that to happen. Please stop. What do I have constructing right here? I got a whole bunch more blocks is what I got going on. How many more of these over here do I... Oh, I'm out of metal plates. Okay, build me some more metal plates real fast. I think there's a possibility that I may go through a big chunk of my iron here, but I still have some ore left over, so I can make like another 200. Each of these takes 5, so that's going to do like another 250. We don't need iron that badly anyways. It could be alright. I got a few more deposits, and this is the last episode I'm going to record before the weekend anyways, and so that gives me plenty of time to farm up anything we might be lacking. There's no health regeneration in this game, so watch out for that. That's going to be one of those things that you're just going to have to... I need another work light. I need 3 work lights, actually. I'm not going to be able to get shit done until I get more work lights done. Not a fan of that. Not a fan of that at all. It's a little bit dark at night, and I have trouble working on things. In fact... it's slightly tempting for me just to wait the 10 minutes until daybreak and get back to working then. I don't want to... I wish you could drag and drop things into different places in the queue, too. I don't know if that's a feature they've looked at, but it'd be cool if you could drag things out of order so you didn't always have to cancel things. Just move them around slightly. I need a couple of work lamps, though. Do those count as... what did that say? I thought that said plasma urine for a second. I was like, wow, that seems like it would be really uncomfortable. For work lamps, those are right there. I need glass plates and metal components. Make me 3 of those bad boys. How long do they take? Not that long. That makes me happy. Let me grab some sausage real quick. Giggity. And while those craft, I'm going to get myself fed. I don't know. This game, it seems inevitable to me that we're going to have episodes like this where we just kind of like work on a big project for a while. Because even if I try and fast forward it, like the people that like to see building get done are going to be bummed out because they didn't get to see it get done. And so I always feel guilty when I omit things, because then there's always like subsets of people that want to see everything, and they come to my channel for the unedited LP experience, and then I feel like an asshole for kind of going against the grain of what I normally do. And so I think with a series like this, you are going to have to edit a little bit and kind of get rid of all the random stupid stuff that goes on. But at the same time, I see no reason why... I don't think I want that way. That seems like it's going to be kind of a pain. I'm going to put it over here, possibly on this side. Yeah, that'll work. And if I could just get like some real lighting going on right now, we could keep working. And I need this one to go further this way. So like right there maybe. And then my front end lighting's a little bit weak. No, that looks great. Whatever. I feel good about it. I'm happy. So we're going to need... actually, I don't think we'll need to do much right there. But instead, what we may need to do is whack this out. Maybe. I may need to put that block back in, but for right now, I just wanted to play with something. We take an inverted hull block right here. And we use this as an opportunity to go like so. And no, I don't think that's what we want to do. Just kind of looking at it geometrically for right now and trying to figure out the way that it's going to expand mentally in one direction versus another. And actually, I think if we leave that alone, we'll be alright. I'm also going to need to take this out a couple more on each side. But let's just work on the front end of the fuselage for a little while. Because when if I get sidetracked on a bunch of projects, I'm going to screw up and do something stupid. And so I'm really trying not to do that today. I want to focus on one piece of the project at a time and then focus on the rest of it. Because if I do it like I did with the ground vehicle, I'm just going to get like frustrated and I'm going to get flustered with things, and then I need it to be like that but the other way. Why won't you do what I want you to do right now? That's upsetting. Go that direction. There we go. And so what we need for right now, we can either go from right there, or we can go from, I'm probably going to have to go from right here on each side, I think, in order to make it look right. This one's just going to flip around. There we go. Nope, that's not what I wanted. I messed up. Did something dumb. Let's get rid of it. Time flies when I do this episode. It's hard to believe it's been 20 minutes already. That's how you know you're enjoying yourself. And I don't get many opportunities to build on this channel. I don't know. It is what it is. It's weird because, like, right there we go. Perfect. And now that that's right there, we take the normal hull blocks. We'll slot those into the 8 key. And you see what I mean? You kind of want to make, like, a mantle around the back of the cockpit. It'll help it look a little bit nicer. Now, I have no qualifications or, you know, credit to my name to tell you why you should do this, but just in my experience with building stuff, it makes it look better. Especially from the front, it makes it look cooler. I'm still not so sure about these blocks right here. Just not so sure. I mean, I think I basically got the effect out that I wanted to have, but I don't know. It looks sorta alright to me. Kinda alright. I may have to get rid of these blocks, put in another inverted, and then swing it out a little bit, but I'm pretty happy with the way that looks right now. I don't think it looks bad. These little things on the sides, I gotta decide how I want the pontoon thingies to go in. But for what we've got placed right now, I think I'm happy with myself. I think for the remainder of the fuselage, we should probably keep it moving on back like so. And for that, I do believe we are going to need a greater amount of hull blocks. But this does afford us the opportunity to place a few of our really, really core pieces, which I think would be, well, the landing gear I can't place until I get other things done, but the Jenny needs to go in. And along from the Jenny, we also need, so we have oxygen tanks, oxygen station, we need a fuel tank, that's fine. Where's my RCS at? Did I leave it inside? I must have left it inside. I'm going to go get my RCS real fast. But we can place the RCS, and we can place some of the other internal components right there. This is not going to be a craft anyways that we're going to be able to, like, walk around inside. It's not going to have, like, a little den space living area. That would be reserved for capital ships, which we don't have right now. Well, anyways. Man, that's a giant piece right there. When you try to put it anywhere other than, like, where it's supposed to go, it expands it out a long ways. What do I have going on in here? Is this still, like, building? Okay, I was making some more parts, but I need the RCS out of there. I knew I forgot a part. And then after that, I'm going to start off a few more hull blocks. I'm going to start off... Oh, I didn't get all those done. Okay, so never mind then. I guess I'll make like 100... I just want to have a lot of these, and that'll take 500 iron. How much iron do I have? Not enough. Hold on. Let's take that back to like 70. And then after that, I've got enough right there to maybe do... like one shy of 20 ingots. So that'll do it. I'm gonna let those craft for a little bit. Let's go back and place some final parts, and then we'll be done with this episode. Let me know what you think. Be very vocal about this episode, because if you don't want to watch me build stuff, I don't have to do it on camera. If you like watching me build stuff, then cool. I like watching things come together. I'm the kind of person that'll sit there and watch, you know... I'll watch just about any Minecraft YouTuber, like Corrales or whoever else, sit there and fiddle with stuff for hours just because it's entertaining to me. And I like watching things get built. I just enjoy it. I could probably slap this puppy in right here somewhere, although it looks like it needs to go long ways if you really want it to be flush. Unfortunately, it doesn't appear to want to do that for me. It's unfortunate. Let me take some hull pieces here and let me see if I can get this to work by forcing the engine to do it. But for right now, at some point I'm going to have to contract the back end of the ship and bring it towards some sort of, like, culmination. But for right now, I'm pretty happy with the way that it looks. Not really going to complain about it much. And obviously, I can sculpt and get rid of whatever I need to. It's always better when you're trying to build something. If you're trying to build something, it's better to overplace blocks than to underplace blocks. Because, well, I guess it kind of depends if you've got a destructive or a constructive mind. And what I mean by that is, do you start with a primitive form and then you sculpt it from there? Or do you like to build things from raw? I like to take things from a primitive form and then sculpt it. So if I start out with a big square back here, I will then fiddle with stuff and draw things in and kind of just like whittle away on things from the primitive form. Some people like to build from the beginning and just kind of like whittle and tailor as they go along. I think we did really good work here, though. I'm happy with the front. It's a little funky looking, but I think the plan that we have in action will come together once I start building sort of along the sides. I think it'll all come together and it'll look a little bit nicer once we've got the whole package created, if you know what I mean. So for right now, we got the Jenny in right there. We should also probably slap in the RCS just to make sure that that's nice and hidden inside the ship and start in case we start to take fire. My goal here would be actually just to put that on the end. You can actually do kind of a cool design right there. If you put the RCS onto the back end of the generator, it almost looks like they fit together. So just something that I noticed as I was playing the game. I'll probably leave this hollow right here just to save on mass. Because you're looking at every single one of these we lock in gives us another, like, what, quarter of a ton? Oh, it doesn't go by tonnage, it goes by metric. So it gives us 120 kilos. So that's quite a bit of weight that we're slapping on with each of these blocks. I would be inclined to say that we should probably stay away from doing that for right now. Let me go ahead and I'm going to encircle this, though, with everything that I have left. And I think this is going to be the spot where I break off the episode. I'm going to fiddle with it off camera this weekend. This is the last episode that I'm going to record before I do a big batch of us explaining, or I guess exploring out in space. Once I get that all locked in, oh, that's going to be trouble right there. I don't know how I'm going to get that done. I'm going to have some kind of block that goes upwards along this way and also upwards that. I might be able to make it work. I'll see what I think an inverted block will actually get that done nicely. But anyways, that's not... Don't concern yourself with that for right now. I'm sure that I'll fiddle it around off camera and make it work. I look forward to seeing you all in the next episode. This game is called... Well... Empyrion Galactic Survival. I'm sorry, I start looking at things and I can only work on one project at a time, otherwise my brain starts to fart out on me. I will see you all later. Hi, do everybody. Take care, and I'll see you in the next episode.